questions?
To start with, we're really excited about the guys that signed with us today. We have 21 signees. This has been a kind of a long road when you think about when we first got here 2 years ago. We started recruiting a lot of these guys 2 years out, and we built a lot of relationships with them. I think it says a lot about the men on our staff, the folks that work in our recruiting department, everybody associated with our program, from administration to the weight room, nutritionists, athletic training, to the staff over at the Thornton Center and academics, and everybody across campus. When you talk about recruiting, it's a team effort, and we have used all the resources here at Tennessee, to start with our chancellor, to some of the deans in certain departments. Everybody's been bought in and done everything that they could to sell this program, and our players, our current players. Can't say enough about what they've done, and the interaction when these guys come to campus and building relationships. If you look at our recruiting class, I think you got to start at home base, which is in this state. We have 10 guys that signed with us from this state, and they're all across the state, from Memphis to East Tennessee. So, I'm just glad to keep guys here at home. When you talk about needs, I think offensively you got to start at the quarterback position. We signed 2 guys in Harrison Bailey and Jimmy Holiday, and probably the 2 guys couldn't really be any more different when you look at them as football players. Harrison's a big guy that has a live arm, really does a lot of things from within the pocket. He just led his team to a state championship. A guy that really has anticipation throwing the football, is a great leader, captain of his football team. Jimmy Holiday's a guy that's a phenomenal athlete, and it's kind of one of these guys that you're seeing that's changing the game in pro football right now with his versatility of how he can run the football, different types of run games that he can do, and as a guy, anytime he has the ball in his hands, has a chance to go the distance for a touchdown. At running back, a local guy here in T. Hodge is a guy that we targeted early on. He came to one of the first camps that we had here. And again, another guy that's part of the state championship team. He's a big guy, loves Tennessee, wanted to be here, has been a core guy in his class to help recruit, committed and never wavered the whole time. Laneith Whitehead from Athens Academy in Athens, Georgia, is a guy that is a big athlete, probably 235 pounds, but throws the shot 69 feet, so tells you a little bit about his athleticism. Unfortunately, he had an injury this past year, didn't get to finish, but his high school team has been to the state championship a couple of times over the last few years. Athletes, Jabari Small is a guy that from Briarcrest that can play tailback, he can play in the slot. To me, is a guy very similar to a guy we signed last year in Eric Gray. Used to winning, a guy that can get out of the backfield and create mismatches, a rocket sweep guy, return guy. At wide receiver, Jimmy Callaway. Jimmy's a guy that played a lot of quarterback in high school, a little bit of wildcat. He's a kick return guy, extremely fast, has a tremendous upside. Anytime he touches the ball, he has a chance to score. Really played both sides of the ball in high school, but a guy that we'll focus on at wide receiver, but a very instinctive guy. Jalen Hyatt from Columbia, South Carolina, is a guy that I think I saw his record. He's 51-1-1 as a high school player. So a guy that's used to winning, won his 4th consecutive state championship this past year. When you talk about fast, guy runs 10-4 and 100 meters. Really good route runner. Is a guy that has committed to our class back in the summer and never wavered the entire time. I don't think he took another visit. So we're extremely happy about both of those guys. Up front, starting with a local guy, Cooper Mays, a guy that we saw when we first got here. He was playing center guard, played a little bit of defense, but you talk about playing with toughness, knows how to play the game instinctive, plays the right leverage up front. a guy that we think has tremendous upside, a guy that could come in here and contribute right away. James Robinson from Montgomery, Alabama, is a guy that came to camp this past year, so we had a chance to see him work. He played right tackle on his high school team, but probably is a guy that would end up being a guard for us, but a guy that has power, 6'3", 320 pounds. And James is, he came here at camp and probably took 60 or 70 reps of one-on-one in about an hour. So just took rep after rep after rep, which tells you a little bit about his competitive spirit. Javonte Spragans from East St. Louis is another guy that was part of the state championship team. Probably 6'2", 338 pounds. A guy that's extremely athletic, has really good balance and body control. Is probably as excited as about having a chance to continue his football career in college as anybody I've ever been a part of in recruiting. A guy that's just hungry, ready to get here. He's already been calling today, wanting to get the playbook, wanting to get the next workout. So, guy that's used to winning. On the defensive side, I think you got to start up front. The first scholarship that we got in today was Omari Thomas out of Briarcrest. A guy that can play anywhere up and down the line of scrimmage. 6'4", 300 pounds. Guy that really could play defensive end all the way to nose guard. It's a guy that will probably start outside and work our way around, but it's a guy that can play all three downs. Very good basketball player, also plays tennis, so that tells you a little bit what kind of athletic ability that he has there. Dominic Bailey's a guy that's been committed to us for a long time from St. Francis Academy there in Baltimore, Maryland. A guy that every single day I went and watched these guys practice, and I thought it was the Pittsburgh Steelers out there practicing. Their high school team was so big, but the guys that he's practiced against every single day are really probably guys that are all going to college. So he's going to kind of be used to the wear and tear when he gets here. Again, a guy that's used to winning and was sold on UT from the first day that he got here. R.J. Perry out of Birmingham, Alabama. The guy's a very unique athlete. He's 6'6", 305 pounds, got 35-inch arms. Played tight end some in high school, played left tackle, played defensive line, and also played a little bit of wide receiver. So that's kind of an unusual combination. You go watch him play basketball. Very good basketball player, but a guy that we felt like was exactly what we were looking for when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. At linebacker, and I'll start kind of an outside linebacker. Tyler Barron, a local product here, is a guy that we targeted early on 2 years ago that we felt like was one of the best players in the country. Has a unique blend of size and speed. 6'4", 265 pounds. That can play all four downs, could probably play up and down the line of scrimmage, but a guy that we see as an outside linebacker for us, and we're looking for that. We're looking for 4-3 defensive ends, guys that can come off the edge, and a guy that can play all three downs. Martavius French, to me, is a guy that's can play all four positions. When it comes to linebacker, he can play inside or he can play outside. He's from Memphis. We signed a couple of his teammates, and all these guys, I think in the last 2 years, they've lost 2 ball games, but when you talk about hard-nosed, loving the game, just when you go watch this guy play, you can see before the ball snaps, he knows what play is really coming from the offensive side of the ball. So you can tell he studies the game. He knows how to play the plays on defense for the guy that we're excited about. Morgan Joseph, the guy we just got his commitment in, is another guy that can play all 4 spots. Has unique ability to rush off the edge. He could actually play inside. Would be a great special teams player. Has length, range. Probably going to grow a lot if you look at his kind of his build. Really wide shoulders, has length, long arms, big hands. So a guy that's probably going to add some weight, but a guy that can play all 4 spots, is a playmaker. So when he gets to third down, you're trying to decide, you're going to play this guy and rush him off the edge, or is he going to be a guy that plays inside and is playing on the better running backs in our league. When you talk about inside linebackers, to me, Bryson Eason, 6'2", 270-pound guy, large man, big hands. You're talking about a thumping guy that's instinctive, that can run from sideline to sideline. Played a lot of ball. Had a chance to go watch these guys play in this past fall, and he's all over the field. So him and French played on the same high school team, and they were tough to get any yards against. When you look at defensive backs, Tamarion McDonald is a guy that played again at Whitehaven there in Memphis, one of the Tennessee guys. To me, this is a guy that if he could play safety, he could play star. He's a guy, he's 6'2", 205 pounds. Big bone density, a guy that could possibly grow into a linebacker, but we'll start him off at safety, but will be a phenomenal special teams player because he's a runner, he's a hitter, has really good ball skills, and he's used to winning there. Keyshawn Lawrence is a guy from in Nashville at Innsworth. To me, he's a guy that can play all 5 positions. He reminds me of a few guys that I've coached over the years that play in the NFL. You know, he has length, has great ball skills. When you watch his tape, everything he does is with instincts. He's a great punt returner, kickoff returner, and he's a guy that committed early in our class and has really been a big part of kind of recruiting the other guys. Then the last guy here is Nico Slaughter. You know, he's a guy that we had in camp this past year. We did an offering at camp. We really thought that he had some unique ability in his cover ability. You know, his hips, his movements was everything that we were looking for as a guy that we wanted to watch his senior tape. And he had a phenomenal senior year. The guy scored 4 defensive touchdowns. He was all over the field, a guy that played kind of on the slot like a star. He can cover, he has range in the back end, he's instinctive, he's a ball hawk, and we're excited to have him. And last but not least, Will Albright. Will's a guy that played inside linebacker on his high school football team. He's a long snapper, came to camp 2 years ago. We felt like he was the best guy at our camp as a long snapper. We're gonna need one next year. And he's a football player. You know, so when you look at our class top to bottom, we're excited about them. You know, the guys are used to winning. They're close. They're a group. They have a group kind of text message going amongst them. And, you know, these guys are excited about being here. You know, again, I can't say enough about our current players and what they meant to this recruiting class. You know, they're our best recruiters, and they'll continue to be that. But I'm excited about the foundation of these guys, and can't wait to get them here and get started with them.
Questions for Coach? David and Blake?
Jeremy, when you guys are making your evaluation, just how do you describe the impact of just pure size and speed when you're just evaluating a guy holistically, just those 2 things?
Well, there's critical factors for every position. You know, and that comes if you're talking about a defensive back, you're going to talk about how you play the ball in the deep part of the field, how you tackle in space, how can you play man-to-man. But there has to be some kind of, you know, you got to have a plan for what is that size and speed that you're looking for. You know, football players come in all shapes and sizes, so sometimes there are exceptions to the rules, but we would like the bigger, the longer, the faster guys that we can find, right? But as we go through that, you know, size and speed matters, but to me, how you play on the field matters the most. And the next thing to me is what kind of makeup do you have? What kind of intangibles do you have? Are you a captain on your high school team? What does the people in your school say about you? How do you affect your teammates? That's important when you're building a team.
Blake, Vince, Patrick.
Jeremy, when you and your staff are recruiting a guy who can slot into multiple positions, someone like a Leonard Whitehead or Jimmy Holiday, but they have a preference to play a particular position, how do you handle that?
You know, when we recruit our guys, we're going to recruit them for a certain position. And all these guys know exactly what they want to play. And we're going to allow them to play exactly what they want to play. It doesn't do us any good to recruit somebody, tell them one thing, and play them in another position. So we're going to play these guys in the positions that they want to play. Over the years, have I seen that change? You know, when Bryce Thompson got here, he was a quarterback in high school. So when we recruited him, we said, listen, we're going to recruit you as an athlete, probably be a wide receiver. When he got here, he asked if he could try defensive back, so he made that decision. Alante Taylor's a guy that was a high school quarterback, right? So when he gets here, he works the first half of spring as a wide receiver, the second half as a defensive back, and then from there, he decided what he wanted to play. So we let the players decide.
Yes.
Coach, I heard a high school coach say that with the early signing period and having that move up, that a number of his players were already committed prior to their senior year, that he thought that to some coaches on the college level that their senior years are sort of devalued a little bit. You mentioned senior seasons for some of your guys. Is that something that you still put importance in, and can that be a difference for you if you're focusing on that?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to sign guys that are playing their best ball the last part of their career, So most guys, when you look at them, they're going to be better players their senior year than they were their freshman year. The same thing will happen in college. And if you find guys that, they're not playing their best ball their senior year, then you better figure out why. So we feel like the guys that we signed today all were playing their best ball their senior year.
Patrick, then Austin, and Jesse.
With Harrison Bailey, he obviously committed to you guys over a year ago. What was it like from your perspective, watching him have the senior season that he had, his team to state title, have some of the performances he did, and what do you think he's going to bring to your quarterback room?
Well, if you followed Harrison Bailey, his name kind of hit the scene when he was in the 8th grade. The thing that really has attracted me to him and his family is the way the guy never let that affect him. So Harrison Bailey was getting offers probably when he was in the 8th grade. The guy continues to improve every single year. If you look at where he was at going into his junior year, he was 6'5", 239 pounds. We met up there in our office, and I talked to him about how we wanted him here at Tennessee, but I also talked to him about some things that I thought he could improve his game on. The next year, going into his senior year, he's lost 20 pounds. He probably is going from a 5'2" 40 to a 4'8" 40. The guy he takes pride in the way he plays and the way he prepares, and he's like a gym rat. He's always trying to improve his game. And if you watch him, he has improved tremendously over the course of his high school career.
Austin and Jesse.
Coach, can you speak on what David Johnson got done in this class with all those Memphis kids and just his second year at Power 5 level? And then you talk about recruiting the state of Tennessee. Is there a particular part of the state that you'll focus on in February?
Dave, along with the rest of the guys on our staff, done a fantastic job. Dave in particular, building the relationships in the Memphis area, kind of laying the foundation. And he was involved with other players also. So Dave done a tremendous job. All of our guys did. Sometimes in recruiting, whether it's the head coach or a certain guy on the staff maybe gets too much credit or not enough. It really takes everybody, and I think Dave would be the first one to tell you that it takes everybody to recruit somebody. But Dave done a tremendous job for us this year.
Jesse.
You've spoken throughout since coming here about how important it is for the peer recruiting and the guys on campus being involved in that aspect. For this class in particular, because you guys did attack so many in-state guys, how critical was it that Cooper Mays, Keyshawn, and even behind the scenes, waiting until today, a guy like Tyler Barron was really pushing for Maury Thomas's and those guys to join this class?
Well, I believe these 10 guys from this state have a lot of pride in the University of Tennessee. They wanted to represent their home state. They have goals for how they want their next 4 years to turn out. They've really took it upon themselves to recruit each other and to recruit other guys out there. I'm excited to have these guys here. They all have great character. They're leaders, and they're guys that I want to be attached to. And we want in our program, and the guys on our team wanted them in our program. So I really believe that these guys will help continue to lay the foundation for years to come.
Time for a couple more. David.
Jeremy, you guys went through this a couple of years ago, but when you think about the early signing period and coaches trying to rebuild, do you believe that moving that up has made rebuilds more difficult?
You're saying moving the early signing period up?
Yeah, when you're taking over a program like you did in December, you got 2 weeks basically before the early signing period begins.
I do believe it puts pressure on the early signing period on the staff to put together what you want to put together in the first class, you know, so, do I think that should change? Absolutely not. I think early signing period's a good thing, you know, for number one, for a lot of these guys that know where they were gonna go, so a lot of, I guess probably in the SEC, there's probably, I don't know what the number would be, but probably 85% of the guys that are gonna go to an SEC school probably signed today. And they knew that, they knew where they wanted to go, so it's over with, so the next month, next 6 weeks, they don't have somebody calling them, they don't have to meet with people, at the school, so it takes a little pressure off of them from that standpoint. It probably does the same thing for the high school coach, so they can continue to improve their own team. I know it gives us as college coaches an opportunity to start recruiting the next class. The recruiting calendar has really just moved up by about 2 months. So everything has kind of changed. So, and it's something that you have to adapt to.
Last couple, Brent, Blake.
Coach, you mentioned a couple different times about the guys not taking other visits, not looking around, you know, being loyal to you guys. It obviously wasn't the start of the season, anybody wanting what. Were you surprised that these guys held together the way that they did? And what do you attribute that to, you know, as the season went along?
Well, I believe the guys in this class that have been committed, you know, back out before the season started, they knew why they wanted to come to Tennessee. They believed in the direction that we were headed. They believed in our coaching staff, our vision, and they believed in the players that were here. They want to play with good players. They believed that we got a chance to do something special here. So kind of like our team, you know, our team really never wavered. They just kept going to work, you know, and tried to fix the mistakes that we were making. So, and we did the last half of the year, and the guys stuck with us. And, you know, I think it says a lot about them. It says a lot about their character, their makeup, which to me is almost as important, or it might be more important than how big and how fast you are.
Last two, Blake and Austin.
Jeremy, you got 3 scholarship quarterbacks on your roster now, 2 signed today. Is your expectation you'll have all 5 of those guys competing in the spring, and you haven't had that depth at that position before? How does that affect you maybe in the offseason?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing. You know, one thing that I figured out a long time ago, you better keep signing quarterbacks till you got one, because if you don't ever have one, it's hard to win a game. So we'll have 5 guys, really good guys on our team, and the way we practice, they will all get an opportunity and get the same amount of reps. So there'll be lots of competition in that room, and that's going to make them all better.
Austin, final question.
Coach, I know you said over at Catholic a couple years ago when Kate decided to go to Georgia with the Mays family. For that thing to come full circle with Cooper, what's it say about them and just Cooper as he kind of, you know, opened his eyes to giving you guys a shot?
Well, you know, Cooper is a guy that he really loves University of Tennessee. You know, he's a guy that we targeted early on and recruited him, and we're excited about him. The guy that, like I said before, is hard-nosed, loves the game, he's tough, you know, plays the game the right way, and has been a big part in this recruiting process and helping us bring other guys here.
Thank you, Coach.